The difference between 10K and 100K months isn't talent or offer quality, it's operational infrastructure. Most coaches hit 10K through hustle, then they end up plateauing for months or even years because they lack the systems to scale. Today I'm sharing the exact operations playbook that takes coaching and consulting businesses from 10K to 100K per month predictably without the usual growing pains, bottlenecks, and burnout. I'm Alleyne, Chief Revenue Officer at Closers.io, and I've helped build and scale revenue teams at companies like Twilio and AWS, and now I work with coaches, consultants, and agency owners to implement the operational foundations that enable predictable growth. This isn't about starting from zero, it's specifically for businesses that have achieved product market fit with their first few clients, but now they need the infrastructure to scale beyond the founder. Now let's take you into the operational blueprint that will take you from 10K months to 100K months and beyond. Every coaching and consulting business operates on 4 core pillars. The first pillar is your offer, the solution that you provide to the market. The second is acquisition, how you generate consistent lead flow. The third is conversion, your sales process and closing mechanism. And the fourth is fulfillment, how you deliver on the promised outcome. At 10K per month, you likely have an offer that works and some basic processes for the other 3 pillars. But the challenge is that these processes are probably inconsistent, undocumented, and completely dependent on you as the founder. To scale to 100K per month, each of these pillars needs to become systematized, delegated, and optimized, creating a conveyor belt that moves prospects smoothly from first touch to a fulfilled client without you needing to be involved at every single step. So let's break down exactly how you can build this into an operational machine. The first critical step in scaling from 10K per month to 100K is documenting every single step of your customer journey, from the very first step all the way through to offboarding. Most founders at 10K per month are operating from inside their own heads. Their processes exist, but they're not written down anywhere. This makes delegation near on impossible and creates a ceiling as to how much you can actually grow. So here's what you need to make sure that you document in detail. First, you need to capture your initial outreach templates and your messaging sequences. Then you want to document your lead qualification criteria and the process associated to that, defining precisely how you determine if someone is actually a good fit. Next, detail your discovery call structure and the specific questions that you ask to uncover needs and pain points. Map out your sales call flow and how you handle common objections that may arise. Now, don't stop there. You need to then make sure that you document your contract payment procedures, your client onboarding sequence, and every delivery milestone and touch point. Include your process for tracking progress and reporting results to clients, and finally, how you handle client offboarding and testimonial collection. Don't just create high-level overviews, document the micro details, the exact messages, the specific questions, and the follow-up sequences, along with the delivery checklist. This documentation serves 3 critical purposes. First, it creates consistency. When processes are documented, they can be replicated with the same quality every single time, regardless of who's implementing them. Secondly, it reveals inefficiencies. The art of documenting often highlights redundant steps or bottlenecks that you didn't even realize existed. Third, it enables delegation. Without detailed documentation, you can't effectively hand off tasks to other team members, but with it, you create the foundation for scaling beyond yourself. Whenever I'm engaging with any type of client, I typically will spend at least a full week just documenting their current processes before I even work with them to begin optimizing them. This investment pays enormous dividends as that person and business goes on to scale. Now, with your processes documented, the next step is to make your first strategic hire to address your biggest constraint. This is where many founders go wrong. They either try to do everything themselves for too long, or they make premature hires without clear roles and expectations. The key principle here is to focus on hiring for your biggest time and energy constraint initially. And in most cases, this means starting with hiring for fulfillment support. By freeing yourself up from fulfillment-related tasks, you create more capacity to focus on sales and acquisition, the activities that have much more of a direct focus on driving top-line growth. However, a common mistake at this stage is hiring for impressive titles rather than specific tasks. At 10K per month, you don't need an operations director or a fulfillment manager. What you need is someone who can take specific tasks off your plate in an efficient manner while being affordable too. I typically recommend hiring an experienced virtual assistant anywhere from $6 to $12 per hour to handle the administrative aspects of fulfillment. They can manage client communications, prepare and distribute resources, handle schedule management, track client progress, and create create and manage documentation. This single hire can often free up 15 to 20 hours of your week just for $500 to $1,000 per month, creating immediate positive ROI by allowing you to focus on revenue generating activities. Now, as you scale beyond 30 to 50K per month, you can consider more specialized roles like dedicated fulfillment specialists or customer success managers, but start with addressing the immediate constraint in the most cost-effective way. Now, to scale from 10K to 100K per month, you need a predictable acquisition engine that doesn't rely on your personal network or referral. This is where having the right systems in place becomes crucial. You need to track every single lead and every conversation and every conversion as well. This is why many of our clients at Closers.io use Go High Level to manage their client data and their marketing systems. It's an all-in-one platform that helps you to automate and scale your acquisition efforts. And I've left a link in the description box below of this video where you can get a completely free trial to check it out for yourself. Now, between 10K and 30K per month, I recommend focusing exclusively on outbound strategies. And you might be wondering why? Because outbound requires time rather than capital, which you likely have more of at this particular stage. This means identifying your ideal client profile with real precision, creating personalized outreach campaigns on the platforms where your prospects spend most of their time, and then developing a follow-up sequence that nurtures those leads over an extended period while tracking the conversion metrics at each stage of the process. The key is making this process systematic and delegatable. Once you've proven an outbound approach works, you can hire a virtual assistant to handle the execution while you oversee the strategy and take the sales calls. Now, as you approach 30K per month, it's time to add a second acquisition channel, typically paid advertising. This creates diversification in your lead flow and it accelerates your scaling. However, don't dive into paid ads without the proper tracking and systems in place. You need to know exactly what your cost per lead is and what you're paying per scheduled call, your cost per acquisition, and the lifetime value of clients from each individual channel. This data allows you to make informed decisions about scaling your ad spend rather than guessing and just hoping. By the time you're approaching 50K per month, you should now have at least 2 reliable acquisition channels functioning as well-oiled machines. This then allows you to have predictable lead flow without your daily involvement. Now, the final piece of the operational puzzle, and typically the last one you should remove yourself from, is the sales process. Up to about 30 to 50K per month, you as the founder will likely handle most of your sales calls. This gives you critical feedback on your messaging, your offer, and client needs that then inform your scaling strategy. However, to reach 100K per month, you'll eventually need to bring on dedicated sales talent. The key to doing this successfully is creating a systematic, reliable sales process that others can actually follow. You also want to ensure that you have a detailed sales script where you cover each and every stage of the sales call, along with frameworks for handling the most common sales objections. You want to go as far as to make sure that you've documented things such as the paper process and contractual processes when engaging with clients, so that a new salesperson can see A to Z exactly what it's going to take to be successful in this role. When hiring for your first salesperson, look for someone with experience selling similar services or to a similar audience. Provide them with extensive training using your documented processes and the recorded calls before letting them loose on live prospects. Be sure to set clear expectations and KPIs and have a regular review process to provide coaching and feedback as they ramp up. You want to ensure that you've got someone who's hungry and who's driven, that they're really bought into what it is that you do as a company, and that they have some industry acumen. When you combine all of these ingredients within your initial hire, you'll be on the path towards having someone who's going to be able to get after it and drive success within the business. Now, beyond the tactical elements, scaling from 10K to 100K per month requires a fundamental mindset shift. At 10K per month, you're running a business, but at 100K per month, you're building a company. This means thinking fundamentally differently about how you approach your operation. Instead of asking, how can I do this better? Start asking, how can this be done without me? From day one, build as if you're creating a $10 million or a $100 million company that's just getting started, not a 10K business that's trying to grow incrementally. This mindset influences everything about how you build your business. It shapes how you document processes, making them comprehensive and scalable rather than just providing quick notes. It affects who you hire and when, looking for team members who can grow with the company. It determines what systems you implement, ensuring that you choose platforms that can actually accommodate growth rather than just solving today's problems. And it transforms how you structure your day by focusing on strategic activities rather than just putting out fires. The founders who successfully scale to 100K per month and beyond are those those who make this shift early, seeing themselves as architects of systems rather than just doers of tasks. Now let me break this down into a complete roadmap from 10K per month to 100K per month. At 10K per month, start by documenting every aspect of your customer journey. Hire a virtual assistant to handle fulfillment admin tasks that consume your time, optimize your outbound acquisition system to create consistent lead flow, continue handling sales calls personally to maintain close connection to your market, and implement proper tracking systems to understand your metrics. As you reach 30K per month, it's time to add a second acquisition channel, typically paid ads, to diversify your lead sources. Bring on specialized fulfillment support to enhance client experience. Begin creating your own sales documentation by recording and analyzing your best calls. Consider hiring dedicated acquisition support to scale your outreach efforts and optimize your client experience to generate more referrals. When you hit 50K per month, hire and train your first salesperson to take over the conversion process. Add a third acquisition channel if needed to further diversify your lead generation, and implement team management systems to maintain accountability as your team grows. Build out a more comprehensive fulfillment team to deliver exceptional client experiences, and begin systematically removing yourself from day-to-day operations. By the time you reach 100K per month, you should have a complete team now handling acquisition, sales, and fulfillment without your daily involvement. Multiple acquisition channels should be generating predictable lead flow, standardized systems should govern every aspect of the business, and your role should shift primarily to strategy, leadership, and growth initiatives. This progression isn't rigid. You may need to adapt based on your specific business model and constraints, but the principles remain consistent. Document, systemize, delegate, and optimize in a strategic sequence. Scaling from 10K per month to 100K isn't about working harder. It's about building the operational infrastructure that allows your business to grow beyond your personal capacity. By documenting your processes, making strategic hires, building predictable acquisition channels, and systemizing your sales approach, you create a conveyor belt that can take prospects from first touch to fulfilled clients without your constant involvement. Remember, the goal isn't to scale a 10K business, it's to build a $10 million company that just happens to be at 10K right now. If you're implementing the appropriate systems, having the right tools to track your data and manage your client relationships is crucial. That's why I recommend checking out Go High Level through the link I've left in the description box below. It's the platform that many of our clients use to manage their growing businesses in a much more efficient manner. Now, if you found this blueprint valuable, hit the subscribe button for more frameworks on scaling your coaching or agency business. I'm Alleyne, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Now, before you go, I want you to also drop a comment sharing which operational system that you're going to implement first in your business. And don't forget to check out the link I've left in the description box below for your completely free trial to Go High Level.